The iron weight of the shackles felt cold against Fynn's wrist, but the fire burning in his chest was hotter. Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy with brown hair and freckles with lean body type, lay back against the silk pillows of the massive king-sized bed, his breath hitching as he looked up at the man towering over him. Omarion, tall, African-American, 22-year-old CEO bodybuild type. His silhouette was a jagged shadow against the moonlight filtering through the villa's floor-to-ceiling windows. His face, once the portrait of warmth and unrequited devotion, was now a mask of cold, hard stone. "You stay by my side," Omarion's voice dropped to a dangerous, predatory growl. He leaned down, his fingers gripping Fynn's chin with a bruising intensity. "No one will get to have you but me. Understand?" Fynn didn't flinch. Instead, a small, involuntary chuckle bubbled up from his throat. Omarion's eyes flashed with a flicker of confusion and then rage. "You dare laugh?" he asked, his voice cooling to a lethal edge. "You think this is a game? After I watched you walk toward that altar? After I spent years watching you throw your life into the hands of a snake? If only you knew," Fynn thought, his heart thudding against his ribs. "If only you knew that 24 hours ago I was screaming in a hotel room while that snake watched men tear me apart. If only you knew you were the last name I whispered before the world went black. 24 hours earlier, the reset." The transition had been violent. One moment Fynn was weeping, chained to a bed in a dingy hotel room, watching his then-husband and his cousin, Ploy, beautiful, 25-year-old Korean woman with blonde hair, toast to his ruin. The next, he was gasping for air in a sun-drenched luxury suite, the scent of expensive lilies filling his lungs. He was in his white silk robe. Beside him stood 2 glasses of vintage champagne and a bowl of strawberries. "Honey, are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." Finn's head snapped toward the door. There he was. Gordon, 28-year-old, tall Korean man with glasses. The man he had loved. The man who had just sold him to monsters. He looked perfect in his designer suit, a gentle smile on his face that Fynn now recognized as the skin of a predator. I'm fine," Fynn forced out, his voice trembling. He grabbed a glass of champagne, not to drink, but to have something to grip so his hands wouldn't shake. "Just nerves, the wedding tomorrow." "I can't wait to marry the man of my dreams," Gordon said. Stepping closer to press a kiss to Finn's forehead, Fynn felt his skin crawl. It was the exact same sentence, word for word. God gave me a second chance, Fynn realized, his mind racing. He gave me the chance to burn this all down before it starts. When Gordon's phone buzzed, the man's expression shifted subtly, a flicker of urgency. "It's work, baby. I have to take this. Stay here and rest, okay?" As soon as the door clicked shut, Fynn sprang into action. He crept toward the bathroom, pressing his ear to the adjoining door where Gordon had stepped out onto the balcony. He pulled out his phone and hit record. "I told you, Ploy, it's handled." Gordon's voice drifted in, cold and mocking. "The shares are as good as ours. Once he signs the merger papers during the vows, he's useless. I've already got the infidelity party arranged at the hotel. By tomorrow night, Fynn will be a disgraced nobody and we'll be billionaires." Fynn leaned against the cold marble tile, tears of rage stinging his eyes. He didn't cry for the lost love. That love was dead. He cried for the version of himself that had been too blind to see the truth. He thought of Omarion, the jealous creep he had banned from his life because Gordon had told him to. "I'm sorry, Omarion," Fynn whispered to the empty room. "I'm going to fix this." The wedding day, the ballroom of the Grand Ballroom in South Korea, was packed with the elite of influencers, CEOs, and socialites whispered behind fans as the son of the company vice president prepared to tie the knot. In the dressing room, Gordon handed Fynn a leather-bound folder. "The merger papers, darling. To show the board we are a united front. You promised to sign over the shares today." Fynn looked at the document. He could see the hidden clauses, the ones that gave Gordon and Plow total control over his family's legacy. He smiled brilliantly, the most beautiful mask he had ever worn. "Of course, Gordon. Anything for our future." He bent over the desk, his pen moving with deliberate grace. "There," Fynn said, handing the folder back. "It's done." Gordon didn't even look at the signature. He tucked it into his jacket, his eyes gleaming with greed. "Let's go. Our guests are waiting." The Grand Ballroom in South Korea ceremony was a blur of white silk and false promises. Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy with brown hair, freckles, and a lean body type, now wearing a tailor-made white tux, stood at the altar, feeling the weight of 1,000 eyes. In the shadows near the back entrance, he spotted a tall figure in a dark suit. Omarion, tall, 22-year-old African-American CEO with a bodybuild type. He had come, despite the insults. He was there to watch his heart break one last time. The officiant reached the vows. Gordon, 25-year-old, tall Korean man with glasses, wearing a black tailor-made tux, spoke with practiced emotion, crying fake tears about eternal devotion. Then it was Finn's turn. The microphone hummed as Fynn stepped forward. He looked at Gordon, then at his cousin Ploy, beautiful 28 Korean woman with blonde hair, now wearing a beautiful red dress that hugged her curves, who was sitting in the front row with a smug grin. Gordon, Fynn said softly, I have something to say. Go ahead, my love, Gordon prompted. Eat shit, Fynn said with a secret grin. The silence that followed was deafening. The socialites froze. Finn's parents gasped. Excuse me? Gordon stuttered, his face paling. I said, eat shit, Fynn repeated, his voice echoing through the hall. There will be no wedding today. Because I don't marry men who plot with my cousin to drug me and steal my inheritance. Fynn, you're hysterical? Gordon started, reaching for him. Fynn pulled out his phone and tapped the screen. The audio of Gordon and Ploy's conversation from the night before roared through the high-end speakers. The betrayal was laid bare for every influencer and CEO to hear. And as for the men you hired to wait for me at the hotel? Fynn signaled to the back. Security guards dragged in 3 bruised men in handcuffs, men Fynn had tipped off the police about hours ago. The papers! Ploy screamed, standing up, her face twisted in a mask of ugly desperation. It doesn't matter. He signed the shares over. We own you! Gordon frantically pulled the folder from his jacket and ripped it open. He turned to the signature page. There was no signature. In the place where Finn's name should have been, there was a crude, mocking drawing of a donkey with its tongue sticking out. You little brat. Gordon lunged, his face purple with rage. Before his hand could even come close to Finn's face, a blur of black moved. A massive hand caught Gordon's wrist, the sound of bone creaking under pressure filling the air. Slap. Omarion didn't just stop him. He delivered a blow that sent Gordon sprawling onto the floral arrangements. Omarion stepped over the fallen man, his presence overwhelming the entire room. He didn't say a word to the crowd. He simply swept Fynn off his feet, lifting him in a bridal carry. There is no wedding, Omarion announced to the room, his voice like rolling thunder. Go home. Now, hours later, Fynn lay on the bed in Omarion's private estate, his left hand cuffed to the headboard. The adrenaline of the wedding was fading, replaced by the heavy, complicated heat of being near Omarion again. Omarion gripped his chin again, his thumb brushing against the small bead of blood where he had bitten Finn's lip in a hungry, desperate kiss. You think you can just smile at me? Omarion hissed. After you called me a creep? After you chose him? Fynn looked into Omarion's eyes, the eyes of a man who had been pushed past his breaking point by love and grief. He realized Omarion didn't trust him. Omarion thought Fynn was only here because he was scared, or that he might run back to his old life the moment the cuffs were off. Fynn leaned his head back, exposing his throat, a small, genuine smile playing on his lips. I'm not laughing at you, Omarion, Fynn whispered, his voice soft and steady. I'm laughing because for the first time in 2 lives, I'm exactly where I want to be. Omarion's grip tightened, his poker face flickering for a split second. He didn't believe him. He couldn't believe him. Not yet. We'll see how long that lasts, Omarion growled, turning toward the door and plunging the room into darkness. Fynn listened to the click of the lock. He felt the cold metal of the cuff. In the silence, he made a vow. He had dismantled his enemies in one afternoon. Now he would spend every day for the rest of his life dismantling the walls around Omarion's heart. The game had just begun.
The sunlight piercing through the heavy velvet curtains was a harsh reminder of a reality Fynn. 21-year-old Korean man, brown hair, freckles with lean body type, was still struggling to grasp. Last night, he had been a prisoner in silk sheets. This morning, the heavy weight on his wrist was gone. The click of the lock's sound in the quiet room. Omarion, tall, attractive, 22-year-old, African-American CEO, man with bodybuild type, walked in. His expression unreadable, silhouetted by the morning glow. Without a word, he produced a small key and unlocked the cuff. Fynn's wrist was red, a faint ghost of the metal's bite. But he didn't care. He looked up at Omarion and smiled, soft. Genuine expression that seemed too great against Omarion's stony exterior. Take a bath, Omarion commanded, his voice a low rumble. We eat breakfast in 20 minutes. before Fynn could stand on his own. Omarion reached down and swept him into a bridal carry. Fynn instinctively wrapped his arms around Omarion's neck, pressing his face into the crook of the man's shoulder. He felt Omarion tense up, the muscles in his chest turning to granite, but he didn't pull away. He's still a wall, Fynn thought, inhaling the scent of sandalwood and expensive soap. But even walls can be climbed. The dining hall was an expanse of marble and gold, far too large for just two people. They sat in a silence so thick it felt suffocating. Fynn watched Omarion move with a clinical, detached grace as he cut his omelette. Omarion, Fynn started, his voice small but steady. I'm grateful, truly, to be back by your side. I hope I can stay here forever. Omarion's fork hit the porcelain with a clack noise. He looked up, his dark eyes piercing. Don't, he snapped. Don't lie to me, Fynn. I know your games. You re-sang what you think I want to hear, so I let my guard down. You'll wait for the gates to open, and then you'll run back to your ex. I would rather be unalive than touch him again. Fynn said, his voice rising with a sudden conviction. I promise you, Omarion, I am yours. Only yours. Omarion's jaw tightened. He didn't look convinced. He looked uncertain, as if Fynn's sincerity was a new kind of weapon he didn't know how to parry. Without another word, Omarion stood, his chair scraping harshly against the floor. He turned and walked out, his long coat billowing behind him like a shroud. Moments later, the roar of a limousine engine echoed from the driveway. Fading into the distance, Fynn slumped in his chair. It wasn't going to be easy. He had spent years breaking Omarion's heart. He couldn't expect two mended over a single breakfast. To clear his head, Fynn wandered into the villa's massive library. It was a sanctuary of old paper and leather. As he browsed the shelves, he spotted a small, worn leather book tucked behind a row of encyclopedias. He reached out, his fingers just brushing the cover, when a voice roared through the air. Get your filthy hands off that. Fynn looked up from the voice in shock to see a woman he once loved like a second mother. Omarion's mother, Madame Sunday, beautiful, 50-year-old African-American woman with long gray hair before him. Her face contorted with a hatred so pure it took his breath away. You, she hissed. How dare you step foot in this house? Haven't you destroyed my son enough? You turned him into a shadow of himself. And now you come back to scavenge what's left. Madame, I'm sorry, Fynn whispered, his eyes watering. He looked at the book. He had almost touched Omarion's diary. He hadn't known. I didn't mean to. I don't care what you meant, she shouted. Guards, get this boy out of my sight. Take him into the street where he belongs. Two burly guards stepped forward, reaching for Fynn's arms. Fynn shrank back, his heart racing. He had no right to be here. He knew that. But the thought of being cast out, of losing his only link to Omarion, terrified him.
Touch him, a voice boomed from the doorway. And you'll be looking for new employment by sunset. Omarion, tall, attractive, 22-year-old, African-American CO man, bodybuild type, stood there, his eyes burning with a cold fire. He walked into the room, stepping between Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy, brown hair, freckles with lean body type, and the guards. Omarion, what is the meaning of this? His mother, Madame Sunday, beautiful African-American, 50-year-old woman with long gray hair, demanded. Why is he here? Fynn grabbed Omarion's arm, clinging to him like a lifeline. Madame Sunday, please, Fynn said, his voice trembling as he wove a desperate golden lie. We met at a cafe weeks ago. We talked about high school. We realized we were wrong to let our friendship die. Omarion confessed his feelings, and since I was unattached, we decided to start over. Omarion looked down at Fynn. He knew it was a lie, a beautiful, sanitized version of the kidnapping and the handcuffs, but he remained silent. He let the lie settle over the room like a blanket. Madame Sunday looked between them, her eyes narrowing. She didn't believe it, but she saw the way Omarion held Fynn. With a huff of pure disdain, she turned on her heel and swept out of the library. The moment she was gone, Omarion spun Fynn around, pinning him against the mahogany bookshelf. He gripped Finn's chin, his face inches away. "You lie so easily," Omarion whispered, his breath hot against Finn's lips. "It makes me wonder, is this whole act, your devotion, your staying by my side, just another story you're telling to survive?" "Omarion, no." Omarion cut him off with a kiss. It wasn't tender. It was a collision. Aggressive, hungry, and desperate. He tasted of bitterness and longing. Fynn tried to keep up, but the sheer force of Omarion's emotion was overwhelming. When Omarion finally pulled away, Finn's legs gave out and he slid to the floor, gasping for air. Omarion looked down at him, a dark smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Get ready," he told the butler standing by the door. "Prepare him for tonight." "Tonight?" Fynn wheezed. "What's tonight?" Omarion didn't answer. He just walked away. An hour later, Fynn found himself submerged in a warm milk bath, the steam smelling of honey and almond. He felt exposed and uncomfortable as two helpers scrubbed his skin and groomed his hair. "Is this necessary?" Fynn asked the butler. "The master insists on perfection for the gala tonight," the butler replied smoothly. "Tell me," Fynn said, looking at one of the younger helpers, "Omarion, what has he been like? These past 4 years?" The helper hesitated. He stopped smiling, Sir Fynn. "After his father died 3 years ago, he buried himself in work. He became cold. His father died, Fluke froze. But I heard he was just ill." "Why was it a lie?" Fynn wondered. The realization hurt. When he finally stepped out of the villa later that evening, the moon was high. He was dressed in a charcoal black tuxedo that fit him like a second skin, the fabric shimmering subtly under the porch lights. Omarion, wearing a black tailor-made tux, was waiting by the limousine. Next to him, Madame Sunday, wearing a beautiful $1 million sparkling blue Cinderella dress, rolled her eyes and stepped into the car. Omarion, however, went still. His gaze traveled from Finn's polished shoes up to his styled hair, lingering on the pale column of his throat. Fynn felt a flush of insecurity. "Is it too much? I can change." Omarion reached out, his hand wrapping firmly around Finn's wrist. He didn't say a word about how beautiful Fynn looked, but the heat in his eyes told a different story. He wanted Fynn out of that tuxedo, but not so he could change into something else. "Get in," Omarion commanded, his voice strained. The limousine door closed, sealing them into the darkness together. The gala was a sea of false smiles and expensive perfumes, but beneath the surface, the air felt thick with tension. Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy, brown hair, freckles with a lean body type, wearing a black $1 million tailor-made tuxedo, stepped out of the limousine. His hand instinctively finding Omarion, tall, attractive 22-year-old CEO African-American man with bodybuild type's arm. This event was a tribute to Omarion's rich and successful father, a man celebrated as a titan of industry, yet the atmosphere felt more like a masquerade. "Why is it a secret, Omarion?" Fynn whispered as they ascended the grand staircase. "Your father's passing. Why tell everyone he's in Africa?" Omarion's jaw tightened, his eyes scanning the room like a soldier in a minefield. "Because a dead lion invites hyenas, Fynn, until I know who pulled the rug out from under him. He's alive and well in the eyes of the board. Keep your mouth shut." As they entered, Fynn watched Omarion transform. He was the perfect heir, shaking hands and accepting praise for his father's charity work abroad. But Fynn saw the flicker of pain in Omarion's eyes every time a guest asked when the old CEO would return. Each lie was a needle under Omarion's skin. The evening took a sickening turn when the double doors swung open to reveal Finn's parents. To Finn's horror, walking just a step behind them were the cousin, Ploy, beautiful, 28-year-old Korean woman with long blonde hair, dressed in a beautiful diamond-like dress that hugs her curves, and the ex-fiancé, Gordon, tall 25-year-old Korean man, wearing glasses and a black tux. The room erupted in hushed whispers. The scandal of the wedding was fresh, yet here they were, appearing as a united front. Finn's blood ran cold. How? Why would my parents bring the people who tried to ruin me into this event? While Omarion took the stage to deliver a moving speech about his father's legacy, Fynn was left sitting next to Madame Sunday, beautiful African-American, 50-year-old woman with long gray hair, wearing a $1 million Cinderella dress. To his surprise, Madame Sunday seemed to soften in the dim light of the auditorium. "He misses him," she murmured, her voice barely audible over the applause. "When my husband died, Omarion didn't just lose a father, he lost his compass. He spent months in the dark, Fynn, alone, refusing to eat, refusing to sleep. Fynn felt a pang of crushing guilt. During those dark times, he had been the one pushing Omarion away, calling him a creep, too blinded by Gordon's lies to see that his best friend was drowning in grief. I left him when he needed me most, Fynn thought, his heart aching. When the speech ended, Fynn sought out his parents near the bar. Mom? Dad? Finn's voice was laced with disbelief. Why are they here? Why are you walking with Ploy and Gordon? His father sighed, looking weary. Fynn, Ploy's family. She's your cousin. She's been crying for days, saying it was all a misunderstanding. And she's with Gordon now. We can't change who she loves. She plotted to steal our shares, Fynn hissed. You have no proof it was her on that recording, his mother added gently. And Gordon has been very apologetic. We have to think about our family's image, darling. Ploy stepped forward then, a victorious smirk playing on her lips. See, Fynn? Family understands. And since you're so busy with your new friend, she glanced toward Omarion. I thought I'd take Gordon off your hands permanently. Gordon watched Fynn with eyes full of poisonous jealousy, but before he could speak, a heavy shadow fell over them. Omarion appeared, his hand sliding firmly around Finn's waist, pulling him so close their hips collided. The sheer possessiveness of the gesture silenced the group. Is there a problem? Omarion asked, his voice a low, dangerous vibration. Finn's parents bowed deeply, sensing the power radiating from the young CEO. They tried to offer platitudes about his father, but Omarion ignored them entirely. His focus was locked on Finn's flushed, angry face. We're leaving, Omarion announced. Outside of the grand ballroom in South Korea, the cool night air did little to settle the fire in Fynn. 21-year-old Korean guy, brown hair, freckles with a lean body type, wearing $1 million tailor-made black tux's veins. Omarion, tall, attractive, 22-year-old African-American CEO man with a body build type that's wearing $1 billion black tux, pulled his mother, Madame Sunday, beautiful, African-American, 50-year-old woman who's wearing a beautiful $1 million blue Cinderella dress, aside, quietly instructing the driver to take her home. Omarion, where are we going? Fynn asked. Omarion didn't answer. In one swift motion, he grabbed Finn's wrist and hoisted him over his shoulder. Omarion, put me down. What are you doing? Fynn thrashed, thinking this was another punishment. Another moment of the dark Omarion taking control. Omarion took him into the back of a second private car and followed in after him. Before Fynn could realize what was happening, Omarion cupped his cheek, kissed him deeply. The kiss that followed was breathtaking, filled with a desperate hunger. You let him look at you, Omarion whispered against his lips, his suit jacket discarded on the floorboards. You wore that suit and let that dog gawk at you all night. You want to make me jealous? Is that the game today? No, Omarion, You're mine, Omarion hissed, his eyes reflecting a deep, jagged hurt that went beyond jealousy. It was the fear of loss. The car began to rock as passion took over. It wasn't the cold, calculated dominance from the first night. It was a feverish, soul-bearing need. In the heat of the moment, Finn's hand placed against the fogging glass of the window, his breath hitching as he finally understood the depth of the man above him. The next morning, the world was different. Fynn woke up to the sound of crashing waves. He was in a sun-drenched bedroom in a house made of cedar and glass. Omarion was sitting on the edge of the bed, shirtless, his muscular back marked with the faint scratches of the night before. He looked out at the ocean with a haunting stillness. This was his second home, Omarion said softly. My father's. He brought me here to teach me that the ocean doesn't care how much money you have. It just is. Fynn sat up, wearing only Omsrion's discarded dress shirt from the night before. The oversized sleeves swallowed his hands as he crawled across the bed and wrapped his arms around Omarion's waist, snuggling his face into his back. Omarion, Fynn whispered. Tell me what happened to him. Truly, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Omarion's muscles turned to stone. He stood up, gently but firmly disengaging Finn's arms. He walked to the sliding glass door, his silhouette tall and imposing against the blue horizon. Go back to sleep, Fynn, Omarion said, his voice cold again. Some things are better left in the dark. Fynn watched him, feeling the distance grow between them once more. Omarion didn't trust him with the truth yet. He still saw Fynn as the boy who might run, the boy who couldn't be trusted with the family's darkest secrets. Fine, Fynn thought, his eyes narrowing with determination. If you won't tell me, I'll find out myself. I won't let you carry this alone anymore. The morning air was crisp as Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy, brown hair, freckles with lean body type, strolled through the high-end shopping district with Madame Sunday, beautiful, 50-year-old African-American woman with long gray hair. For the first time, she didn't look at him with pure venom. but her eyes were clouded with an exhaustion that went bone deep. "He's going crazy, Fynn," she whispered, her voice trembling as they paused near a fountain. Ever since his father was murdered, Omarion hasn't been the same. He spends every waking hour investigating, chasing ghosts, obsessed with finding the killer. I don't know how to reach him anymore. Fynn felt a chill that had nothing to do with the breeze. Murdered. The word felt heavy and jagged. "I had no idea," he murmured, his heart aching for the burden Omarion had been carrying in silence. Before he could ask more, Madame Sunday's phone buzzed. She paled, her expression turning urgent. "I have to go, it's the board of directors." "Stay here, my guard will watch you." Fynn nodded, watching her hurry away. He felt a strange sense of solitude as he wandered into a nearby boutique. But that peace was shattered when he turned a corner and came face to face with the last people he wanted to see. Gordon, tall, 25-year-old Korean man with glasses and Ploy, beautiful, 28-year-old Korean woman with long blonde hair. Gordon froze. He looked at Fynn, really looked at him. Fynn was glowing, his skin flushed from the beach sun, his eyes sharp and filled with a confidence Gordon had never seen. It was a stark contrast to the submissive boy Gordon had tried to break. A flicker of something that looked like regret, or perhaps a darker obsession, crossed Gordon's face. "I'm going to get us some ice cream, babe," Ploy said, oblivious to the tension as she patted Gordon's arm and walked toward a vendor. The moment she was gone, Gordon stepped toward Fynn. "Fynn, wait, we need to talk." Fynn rolled his eyes, his voice dripping with ice. "Get lost, Gordon. I'm way smarter than you and Ploy think. I know exactly what you were planning, and I'll never trust you again." Gordon looked stunned, his brow furrowing in genuine confusion. "What are you talking about? I haven't even—" He stopped. The way Fynn spoke was as if the betrayal had already happened, as if he were looking back at a ghost. Before Gordon could reach out, the sound of heavy boots echoed on the pavement. Omarion arrived. Omarion, tall, attractive, 22-year-old African-American CEO man with a bodybuild type, his face a mask of pure, unadulterated rage. He didn't say a word to Gordon. He simply stepped up to Fynn and gripped his arm. "Omarion, you're here!" Fynn started, smiling in relief. But the smile died as Omarion's thumb pressed firmly against a pressure point on Finn's neck. Finn's world spun, his knees buckling as a sudden heavy sleep washed over him. Omarion caught him before he hit the ground, lifting him in a bridal carry. "Stay away from him," Omarion warned Gordon, his voice a low, guttural snarl. "You're pathetic," Gordon shouted after them, his face twisting with jealousy. "You have to knock him out just to keep him? He'll never love a monster like you." Omarion didn't look back, but his grip on sleeping Fynn tightened. Maybe he's right, Omarion thought, a bitter ache in his chest. But I'd rather have him hate me in my arms than love someone else in his grave. When Fynn drifted back to consciousness, the first thing he felt was the cold pull of metal. He looked up to see his wrist once again chained to the headboard. "This again?" He snapped, his voice hoarse. Omarion was standing by the window. He gestured for his guards to leave, then crossed the room in 3 strides. He grabbed Finn's chin, forcing him to meet his gaze. "Didn't I tell you?" Omarion hissed. "No one touches you. No one gets near you. Especially not him." "He didn't touch me, Omarion. I was trying to leave," Fynn cried out, tears of frustration pricking his eyes. "Why can't you just trust me?" Omarion released his chin with a violent jerk. "Trust? I lost the ability to trust the day you chose him over me. I was in a dark place, Fynn. After you left, after our friendship died, and then a year later, when my father was killed, I had nothing. I started drinking, I lost hope. I had to become dangerous just to survive. I had to become this man just to get you back." Fynn froze, his anger melting into a profound, hollow sadness. He reached out with his free hand, stroking Omarion's arm. "I'm so sorry, Omarion. I was blind, I promise. I only love you now." Omarion looked at him, his eyes shimmering with a rare, raw vulnerability. Suddenly, the titan of industry crumbled. Omarion sank onto the edge of the bed and buried his face in Finn's lap, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. He had never shown weakness to anyone, not even his mother. But here, in the quiet of the room, he let out 4 years of agony. While Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy, brown hair, freckles with a lean body type, comforted Omarion, tall, 22-year-old African-American CEO man with a bodybuild type. A different plot was brewing at Finn's family estate in South Korea. Ploy, beautiful, 28 Korean woman with long blonde hair, sat with Finn's parents, her expression the picture of wide-eyed innocence. "Uncle," she said to Finn's father, her voice sweet as honey. I know I've made mistakes, but I want to earn my place. Please, let me work at the company. I want to learn the ropes. Finn's mother, whose heart had always been soft for the girl they had raised since she was 10, beamed. I think it's a wonderful idea, dear. I don't, Finn's father grumbled, not looking up from his paper. You'll just cause trouble. I'll prove you wrong, Ploy whispered, her smile turning sharp and predatory as she looked away. I'll make them love me more than they ever loved their precious Fynn, she thought. And once I'm inside the company, I'll dismantle him from the bottom up. The next day, Fynn managed to slip away to his father's office for a chat. He needed to understand the lies about Omarion's father, but the conversation was cut short when Ploy, accidentally, walked in, interrupting them with a stack of papers. Fynn didn't stay to argue. He gave her one long, warning glare and walked out. He got into his car, his mind racing with everything he had learned. He pulled out into the busy intersection, his foot reaching for the brake as a light turned red. Nothing. The pedal hit the floor with a hollow thud. No! Fynn gasped, pumping the brakes frantically. No. The car sped up, hurtling into the path of a massive delivery truck. The sound of screeching tires and twisting metal filled the air as Finn's world turned upside down. Back at the office, Ploy checked her watch. A slow, dark smirk spread across her face. The accident should have happened right about now. The Korean hospital waiting room was a theater of grief. Finn's mother was a wreck, her sobs echoing against the sterile white walls as his father held her, his own face a mask of disbelief and regret. In the corner, Ploy, beautiful 28-year-old Korean woman with long blonde hair, wearing a business suit, dabbed at her eyes with a lace handkerchief. But her eyes weren't red, they were bright with victory. Finally, she thought, the golden boy is gone. The heavy doors swung open, and Gordon, tall, 25-year-old Korean man, wearing a suit and glasses, rushed in, his face pale. He grabbed Ploy by the arm, dragging her into a secluded hallway. What did you do? He hissed, his grip tightening until she winced. I saw the news. The intersection, that was his car. Did you sabotage it? Ploy smirked, shoving him off. I did what you were too weak to do, Gordon. I hired someone. He's either dead or a vegetable by now. This is what we wanted, remember? To take the fortune and run. Now that the only heir is out of the picture, Uncle will have no choice but to rely on me. Gordon stared at her, a sudden, cold realization dawning on him. He had wanted the money, yes, but seeing the reality of Fynn is broken. Buddy, the boy he had once actually cared for in his own twisted way, made his stomach turn. You're a monster, Gordon whispered. Oh, please, Ploy rolled her eyes. You were happy to let those men wanted to do things with him at the hotel. Don't act like a saint now. I think the police would be very interested in that confession, a voice rang out. Ploy and Gordon froze, walking down the hallway. Perfectly unharmed and dressed in a crisp suit was Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy, brown hair, freckles with a lean body type. Beside him stood Omarion, tall, attractive, 22-year-old, African-American, CEO man with body build type, looking like an avenging god, followed by Finn's parents. Finn's mom Sydney, 40-year-old Korean woman with short brown hair, and Finn's father. Fynn, Ploy gasped, her face draining of color. But the accident, the car. The car was empty, Ploy, Fynn said, his voice calm and lethal. I knew the moment you stepped into my father's office that you were desperate. My family's maid, the one you tried to bribe, told me everything. We staged the crash with a dummy. I wanted to hear you admit it. Finn's father stepped forward, his face contorted with shame and fury. I raised you like my own daughter, he said to Ploy. And you tried to murder my son? Ploy immediately turned on Gordon. It was him, he made me. He told me if I didn't help him hurt Fynn, he'd ruin me. Fynn stepped closer, his eyes cold. I believed that. Gordon, after all, is a mastermind of manipulation, and so are you, Ploy. Which is why this time, I made sure I was 10 steps ahead of both of you. Gordon fell to his knees, begging for forgiveness, claiming he truly loved Fynn. Fynn didn't even look at him. He nodded to the officers, who stepped forward and clicked handcuffs onto both of them. As they were carried away, Omarion pulled Fynn into a protective embrace. I trust you, Fynn, Omarion whispered into his hair. I am sorry it took me so long to see that you were fighting for us. They shared a kiss that tasted of relief and victory. But over Finn's shoulder, Omarion's gaze locked onto Finn's father. There was a look in Omarion's eyes, a dark, suspicious glint that suggested the betrayal in this family went even deeper than a jealous cousin. The peace lasted less than 24 hours. The next morning, Omarion headed for the office. A block away from the villa, he noticed his driver's eyes darting to the rear-view mirror. "Stop the car," Omarion commanded. The driver began to shake. "I'm sorry, sir. My family. Gordon's men. They said they'd hurt them if I didn't." The driver pressed the brakes and bolted from the car, disappearing into an alley. Before Omarion could reach the driver's seat, 3 black SUVs boxed the limousine in. A group of masked men emerged, and before Omarion could draw his emergency button, someone covered Omarion's mouth with a white cloth, which caused Omarion faint into darkness. Fynn was frantic. Omarion hadn't answered his calls for hours, and the tracking chip in Omarion's watch had been deactivated. "He never made it to work," Madame Sunday cried, clutching a silk pillow in the living room. "My son, they've taken him." "I'll find him," Fynn vowed, his eyes burning. "I won't lose him again." Using his own connections and a tip from a contact in the underworld, Fynn tracked the SUVs to a derelict warehouse on the docks. He rushed inside, followed by his security team, only to find Omarion tied to a chair in the center of a damp, freezing room. Standing over him was Gordon. He had somehow escaped custody during the transport, his face now twisted with a manic desperation. He held pew-pew to Omarion. "Don't move!" Gordon screamed as Fynn ran into the light. "One more step and I'll hurt him." "Gordon, stop!" Fynn cried, his hands raised. "Take me instead. Let him go. You wanted the money, you wanted the power. It's all yours. Just leave him out of this." Gordon laughed, a high, broken sound. "Money? I don't care about your shares anymore. I want to see him suffer because you love him. I want to take the only thing you care about." Omarion looked at Fynn. He wasn't afraid. He looked at Fynn with a profound, heartbreaking tenderness. He saw Fynn moving forward, ready to sacrifice himself. In a burst of pure adrenaline, Omarion snapped the weathered ropes binding his wrists. He lunged upward, putting Gordon in a headlock. The pew-pew fell to the ground from Gordon's hand. Omarion choked the life out of his captor. Gordon fell limp. It was over. Fynn sprinted to Omarion, throwing his arms around him. "You're safe." "Oh God, you're safe." "Fynn!" Omarion gasped, clutching him tight. "I need to tell you about my father. The person who really ordered the hit." It was bang. A large sound echoes in the warehouse. Omarion groaned, his body jerking as he realizes he's been hit. He collapsed into Finn's arms, staining Finn's white shirt a deep, terrifying crimson. A masked figure vanished into the darkness of the rafters. The hospital was once again their home, but this time the silence was absolute. Omarion, tall, attractive, African-American, 22-year-old, CEO man with a bodybuild type, lay in a state-of-the-art ICU bed, surrounded by the hum and beep of machines. The doctors called it a medically induced coma to allow his body to heal from the trauma. Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy, freckles, brown hair with a lean body type, sat by his side, holding Omarion's cold hand against his cheek. He hadn't slept in 2 days. Madame Sunday, beautiful, 50-year-old, African-American woman with long gray hair, wearing an expensive tan suit outfit, sat across from him, her spirit completely broken. "I'll find them, Madame," Fynn whispered, his voice sounding like dry leaves. "Whoever did this, whoever shot him, I won't just put them in jail." He looked at Omarion's pale face. He thought about the half-finished sentence Omarion had whispered. The person who really ordered the hit. Fynn realized then that the war wasn't over. The cousin Ploy, beautiful, 28-year-old, Korean woman with long blonde hair who is now in Korean prison, and Gordon, tall, 25-year-old Korean man with glasses, were just pawns. There was a bigger monster in the shadows, someone who knew the family's secrets, someone who wanted Omarion dead to keep those secrets buried. Fynn leaned down and kissed Omarion's forehead. "Wake up soon, my love," he whispered, "because I'm going to burn the world down until I find the person who took you from me." The Korean hospital room was a tomb of silence, broken only by the rhythmic, mechanical hum of the ventilator keeping Omarion alive. Fynn sat by the bed, his head resting on Omarion's motionless hand. "If only I could turn back time one more time," Fynn whispered into the stillness. "I'd go back further. I'd save your father. I'd save us." His parents arrived shortly after, his father Nigel, a 52-year-old Korean vice president man, wearing a suit, black hair and freckles, and Finn's mother Susan, a beautiful 40-year-old Korean woman with short brown hair, wearing a dark sundress, Nigel's face a mask of grave concern. He held Fynn as the boy sobbed, asking repeatedly about Omarion's chances. "He won't wake up, Dad," Fynn choked out. "The doctors, they don't know if he'll ever come back." Fynn didn't see the subtle shift in his father's eyes, the way the tension left his shoulders. It was the confirmation Nigel had been waiting for. The next day, a frantic guard reached Fynn at the hospital. "Sir Fynn, you must go to the company. Madame Sunday is losing control. The board is meeting to strip Sir Omarion of his rights." Fynn rushed to the Korean corporate headquarters. Inside the boardroom, Madame Sunday was standing her ground against a dozen cynical Korean men in suits.
My son is the owner.
You cannot replace him while he fights for his life. We haven't seen the chairman in years, madame, one Korean board member countered. The company is drifting. We need a leader we can trust. The doors swung open and Finn's father Nigel walked in, his presence commanding and cold. Then look no further, he announced. As vice president, and as the man the late chairman trusted most, I am stepping forward to claim the CEO position. Fynn stood in the back, paralyzed. Dad? What are you doing? Nigel didn't even look at him. He threw a folder onto the table. I have proof that the chairman is dead. He didn't go to Africa. He was assassinated 3 years ago. And I have a signed document stating that if anything happened to him, his shares in the leadership would pass to his son, Omarion. But because he's in a critical state and cannot lead on the next best choice, giving that chairman had trusted me the most, Madame Sunday gasped, her face turning white. How did you know? I knew because Nigel's sentence was cut short when suddenly the door swung open. A very convincing performance, a deep familiar voice echoed from the doorway. The board members gasped. Finn's heart nearly stopped. Standing there, leaning slightly on a cane but dressed in a flawless charcoal suit, was Omarion. He wasn't in a coma. He was a hunter who had finally caught his prey. Omarion, tall 22-year-old African-American CEO man with a bodybuild type, walked to Fynn, a 21-year-old Korean guy with brown hair, freckles with lean body type, first, pressing a firm, lingering kiss to his forehead. Wait for me, he whispered. We have things to settle. Omarion turned to the board, his eyes like daggers. My father was assassinated 3 years ago. Mr. Nigel is correct what he said. I kept it a secret to lure the killer out into the open. I knew that the moment I was incapacitated, the person responsible wouldn't be able to resist seizing the throne. I was never in real danger. I had to make the doctor lie just to lure the real assassin. Omarion tossed his own evidence onto the table. Call logs between Mr. Nigel and Mr. Gordon, offshore bank transfers, and a recording of Mr. Nigel ordering the final hit on Omarion to ensure the merger was complete. You used your own son's wedding as a distraction to try and finish what you started 3 years ago, Omarion growled. The police entered, clicking handcuffs onto Finn's father. Fynn felt a wave of nausea so strong he had to grab a chair to stay upright. The true reason Omarion hadn't trusted him, it wasn't just the heartbreak from 5 years ago. Omarion had been investigating Finn's family for years. He had kept Fynn at a distance to see if he was part of the conspiracy. I'm so sorry, Fynn whispered, his voice breaking. He looked at Madame Sunday. Beautiful. 50-year-old, African-American woman with long, grey hair, wearing an expensive tan suit outfit, who was staring at him with a mix of pity and lingering suspicion. Unable to bear the weight of his father's sins, Fynn turned and ran from the room. A month passed in a blur of shame. Fynn and his mother, Susan, beautiful, 40-year-old, Korean woman with short brown hair, wearing a pretty yellow sundress, refused to see Finn's father, Nigel, in prison. The betrayal had shattered their world. While Susan sent endless letters of apology to the villa, Fynn stayed hidden, convinced that Omarion and his mother, Madame Sunday, would never want to see the son of an assassin again. One evening, as Fynn sat on his porch staring at the sunset by his 3-story family home, a familiar black limousine pulled into the drive. Omarion, 22-year-old, African-American CEO man with bodybuild type, wearing a really expensive tailored suit, stepped out, carrying a massive bouquet of deep red roses. Susan met him at the door, winking at the young CEO as she hurried him inside. She had been in on Omarion's plan to get Fynn, 21-year-old Korean guy, brown hair, freckles, with a lean body type. Omarion found Fynn in the backyard. Without a word, he led him to the car and drove him back to the villa. The backyard was transformed. Thousands of rose petals floated in the pool, and a candlelit table for 2 stood under the stars. Omarion, please, Fynn now, wearing a beautiful blue tailored suit that Omarion made him wear while on their way back to the villa, sobbed, his head down. Don't apologize. My father, he killed your father. I can't even look at you without feeling that blood on my hands. Omarion stepped close, lifting Finn's chin just like he had on that first night. But this time, his touch was as light as a feather. He kissed Fynn to silence the apologies. You are not your father, Omarion whispered against his lips. I spent 4 years trying to figure out if you were my enemy, but in the end, you were the only thing worth living for. I don't want to spend another day without you. Omarion dropped to one knee, pulling a velvet box from his pocket. A diamond caught the moonlight, flashing brilliantly. Fynn, marry me. Let's start a legacy that belongs only to us. Say yes, a voice called out from the balcony. Fynn looked up to see Madame Sunday, beautiful, 50-year-old African-American woman with long gray hair, wearing an expensive golden dress suit, leaning over the railing, a genuine warm smile on her face. She was giving them her blessing. Tears of joy finally replaced the tears of shame. Fynn nodded vigorously, throwing himself into Omarion's arms. Yes, 1,000 times yes. In this life, there were no more secrets, no more chains, and no more ghosts. As they kissed under the stars, Fynn knew that his second chance hadn't just saved his life. It had finally brought him home. The end.